Hi everyone, I'm Johan and I've got a little baby koala. His name is Orson.
Go ahead and make me.
Hi everyone, it's been quite a while since the last episode. There was no particular reason for taking this break. Life just happened, like life tends to do. But I'm back again, and this time we have a special koala episode, as you can see. For one thing, the big project this time is a koala baby comforter blanket. These are so cute, these comforter blankets. You see them in the shops and they're all cute, and I thought, I can design one, and I did, and I made a koala one. So that's what we're doing today. We're making this one. The pattern is in the link to the pattern is in the description. Of course it's free, as it always is on this channel. Yeah, so koalas, why koalas? Well, they're adorable. There's no denying. They're super adorable. And yeah, ever since I saw one up close, yeah, I just fell in love. And as you can see, they're everywhere in my house. So what's been happening recently? Well, in Australia there were floods. People lost their homes. Few people died as well. Same thing happened in Europe. Yeah, of course, the COVID situation. We were in Victoria here in Australia. We were out of lockdown. We were all happy to just move about again, and yeah, now we're back in lockdown again. It's the 5th one, so yeah, let's hope it's the last one. I doubt that it will be, but we'll see how it goes. What else? Well, I've been quilting. I've made a big quilt along with about, I think, 40 other people in a quilt along. Yeah, it's a beautiful quilt. Everyone chose whether they went with the colors as they were presented, and others, like me, chose our own colors and fabrics. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the result, and it's a lot of fun to do it with other people. I also made a small quilt, sort of decorative quilt, again with a koala theme. This is it. I designed it myself. The reason I made it was that I wanted to make something like a pillow slip or something, or a cushion with a koala on it. So I went looking online, and sure, there were quite a few patterns and instructions and all that, but I didn't really see any that I liked enough. They were either too simplistic, or yeah, I just didn't like their style. So I thought, you know what, I should just try to make one myself, design one myself. And I did, and I basically made it with paper piecing. It's mostly improvised. I took a photograph of a koala, or rather I stole it from the internet, I suppose, and I blew it up, enlarged it, and then divided it into geometric shapes, and that's how I put it together. Yeah, I'm really happy with the result. It came out quite nice. It's the first time that I designed something like that, and because I really enjoy doing it, I might design other things as well, or other quilts or paper piecing patterns. Yeah, so that was a lot of fun. Something else that happened was that I was interviewed by Stephen Bland of the Idiot Quilter. If you don't know him, check out his channel, because he's got lots of interesting things about sewing and quilting. The link's in the description, so just have a look at his videos. You'll be interested, I'm sure. He was kind enough to invite me for an interview, And of course, there were questions there about sewing, about how I got started, what particularly interested me in sewing. And it really made me think, yeah, why do I sew? Well, because I enjoy it, of course. I thought there must also be other benefits to sewing than just enjoying it. And sure enough, I went online, went to a website called mindfood.com, and they listed the 5 main benefits of sewing. And I'll read them to you. Reason number 5 to quilt and sew: stress relief. Sewing encourages mindfulness and reduces stress and anxiety. The meditative action of sewing encourages positivity and feelings of relaxation. Being forced to concentrate on one particular task enables you to become immersed in a situation and truly unwind. I think that's true. Benefit number 2: improved hand and eye coordination. If you're keen to enhance your motor skills, sewing does just that. Especially hand-eye coordination. The attention to detail that sewing requires encourages coordination and relieves physical issues such as back pain. I'm not sure about that one because I'm prone to back pain, and I'm happy enough sitting and sewing if I sew by hand, but if I sit behind the machine, no. That actually causes back pain in my case, so I'm not in agreement on that one. Brain growth is the third. Sewing requires creativity, which improves the brain's ability to grow new brain cells. As mental deterioration is a result of lost connection between neurons, sewing promotes mental growth. That's a good reason to sew. It fights dementia is number 4. Because sewing makes you remember specific steps, it works the brain and keeps the mind clear, focused and active. This can help prevent dementia as you grow older. That's a pretty good reason to sew as well. And the final reason, and the most important but also most obvious one, is happiness. Like other craft activities, sewing increases dopamine in the brain. And we all love some dopamine, which makes us feel more positive. So there you have it. If you didn't already have enough reasons to sew, there's 5 more. First of all, you have to print out the pattern. The link to the pattern is in the video description below. As always, it's my own design, so it's completely free. It says on the pattern exactly how many of each piece you need. For instance, the head top here is just 1 piece, you only cut that once. The side of the head, you cut it twice, but once in reverse, or in mirror image rather, and so on. So it says clearly on the pattern what to do. I have to confess, I made a mistake. I forgot one thing on the pattern, and that is the koala's nose. But since it's just an oval shape, it's not going to be too hard to create that, and I'll show you how to do it anyway. Now these are the materials that you're going to need. To start with, for one side of the blanket, I have 2 contrasting fabrics. One of them is like a quilting cotton. It's already got koalas on it as well, as you can see. It's very cute. The other one also has koalas, but this one is more like a flannel. It's much softer. So the contrast not only in color, but also in feel and texture. Then for the other side and for the body of the koala, I got this ultra soft fake fur. It's the softest thing you'll ever feel. Yeah, it just feels lovely. And then you need a small piece of white fluffy fur as well. And then you're gonna need embroidery floss, black and white, for the eyes. And to fill the head, you're gonna need some polyfill as well. That's it. So when you've cut out your pattern or template, it actually might be a good idea to, I mean I didn't, but it might be a good idea to stick it on a piece of cardboard so that it's a bit more sturdy. Then you're going to cut out this shape from both of the fabrics that you chose. You're going to need 5 of each. So here's 5 of this fabric, and they're all the same shape, and 5 of this fabric. Now make sure that they're each other's mirror image, because you're gonna want to create this shape times 5. So make sure that one fabric is one shape and the other one is its mirror image. And also when you cut out your pieces, that when you put it on the fabric, that you cut it out with about a 1/4 inch or 1/2 centimeter or whatever has your preference for a seam allowance. So then you can start assembling the whole thing. So then you got 5 of these where you've attached the one fabric to the other fabric in these triangles, which you then are going to attach to each other, ending up with a pentagon shaped piece of fabric. Now a little tip here, because you're going to attach all these into a point here, it tends to get very bulky there, and it's going to be a bit more difficult as you go along to get your needle through it, and also it's just not going to look very nice because you can end up with this sort of bubble. So what you simply do is you cut off the excess fabric here, because you don't need it and it's just going to create bulk. So if you do that and then you attach them all together, then you won't have this big thick bulk gathering in the center. So now we're going to attach them all to each other. So these are the 5 triangles that you created all sewn together, and then they are creating a pentagon, as you can see, pentagon shape. Now a good thing to do is to make sure that all the seams are facing one way. So whether you choose clockwise or counterclock doesn't really matter, but make sure they all go in the same direction, so again that you don't get the bulk in the center. It makes a huge difference. Now we're going to pin this to our soft furry fabric, the grey fabric that we chose. You're going to put the right sides together. This is the outer soft material. God, it's so soft, it's just lovely. Now we're putting our assembled piece on it, and I'll just pin it to the other fabric. And one last pin in the center, just for a little added stability. There we go. So now we will use our pentagon as our new template for the entire blanket. So we will just cut along the sides of it. Alright, so now we've got the whole shape of the blanket. Of course now we're going to sew it all together along the sides, but what we're going to do is leave a little opening for the limbs and for the head. So at this point, this outer point, as well as this one and this one and this one, we're going to leave a little space open there so that we can insert the feet and the hands. Now at the top we're going to leave an opening, but slightly larger, let's say about 4 centimeters, because we want to attach the head there and it needs a slightly larger space for that. So let's sew it all together. Oh, very important, of course, leave a space also, probably at the bottom or something, like here, about 10 centimeters, because you want to be able to turn the whole thing inside out, of course. So in the case of the bottom part, you leave an opening here, an opening here, and an opening here about 10 centimeters. Okay, let's do that. Then we cut out the templates for the paws and the koala leg, and we cut them out. For each limb we cut out 2. These are the paws. Of course, you have to mirror each piece so that you can sew them together like so. And the same goes for the legs. 2 pairs that face each other like so. You sew them together with the good furry sides facing each other. After you've sewn the limbs together, it's time to turn them inside out. Now we're going to insert the limbs into the blanket, and remember where we left the big opening at the bottom to turn it inside out later. That's so we know that this is the bottom part, and therefore the legs, they will be attached here. But of course we have to do it inside out. So we take one of them, go into the opening that we left on all corners, insert the leg until you just have the end of it, and just like so, the leg is now inside the blanket. And then you just stitch the whole opening closed, going through all of the layers. You have to have a good grip on all 3 of the layers, because especially the soft furry material is very slippy or slippery. Yeah, so make sure your stitches are tight, and it's also a good idea to use gray thread so that it won't show up when you use white or any other color. Just make sure that the entire opening gets closed. And then when you turn it inside out, your limb will be in the right position. So these are the head pieces cut out. Top of the head, side of the head, and the chin pieces. The ears, the outer ears at the front and the inner ears at the front. As you can see on some pieces I've put a little arrow, because it can be confusing for some pieces which side is up or down, especially the sort of circular ones. So to not make any mistakes, I recommend that you put a little arrow on the top, especially here as well. They just point towards the top. I've inserted the inner ear pieces to the outer ear pieces at the front. They look a bit scrunched up and bulky, but that's just because of the accumulation of all the fur. That's fine though, because as you can see, it'll turn out fine. And yeah, once you attach them to the back of the ears, these pieces, it'll all fall into place and it'll be fine. So we'll do that next. So once you've sewn the backs of the ears to the fronts, you can turn them inside out. Then your ears are ready and you just put them aside for now. Next you sew the white chin pieces to the side head pieces, and then you're going to sew them together from the bottom of the neck, this point, like this, to the point of where the nose is. So you put them together and you sew them from here all the way together up to this point. Now your face piece should look something like this. Now it's time to insert the ears into the darts that we made here. Okay, the ears are attached. Now we're going to attach the top head piece to the face, and we do that by, we start here at the center of where the two face pieces meet, and we attach it to the bottom of the nose tip, and then we go either to the left or to the right, attaching the face to the top of the head. Now I've attached the top piece to the face to the point where the ears start, and this is the perfect time to create the rest of the face, because if you would attach the whole thing together, then it'll be much harder to get in there and create eyes and the nose. So we'll do that now. With some embroidery floss, I created the eyes. Just some black pupils with a tiny bit of white around them to give them a little bit more depth. So now we're ready to close the head. And there it is, the koala head. He's closed up and stuffed with polyfill. I also trimmed the fluff on the ears a little bit because it was a bit too much. So now we're ready to attach him to the rest of the blanket. So there it is, the Koala Baby Comforter Blanket. If you decide to make it, I hope you'll enjoy it as much as I enjoyed designing it and presenting it to you. Yeah, let me know in the comments what you think. Any suggestions, any thoughts? Everything's welcome and I'll reply to everything. Beyond that, like the video, subscribe if you haven't, and see you next time. Thanks for watching. See ya.